I grew up the only black kid attending PWIs in Tallahassee, Florida, and if you need a reference, it's basically this clip from the Boondocks.
What I don't understand is that if it's so offensive to them, then why do they say it over and over again?
So Riley said the N-word before you did that morning.
He says it every morning. He calls me nigga. He calls the other kids nigga. He calls himself nigga. All the time. Nigga this, nigga that. Nigga please. Bitch nigga. Nigga, have you lost your mind? Nigga, check that hoe. Nigga, you bullshitting. Break yourself, nigga. He says it so much I don't even notice it anymore. Last week in lunch, Riley says to a classmate, "Can a nigga borrow a French fry?" And my first thought wasn't, oh my God, he said the word, the N-word. It was, now how is a nigga gonna borrow a fry? Nigga, is you gonna give it back?
Like, I see that clip and I just think Tallahassee, Florida. And my mom loved to go for walks, and the South has some wonderful fucking nature trails. And I go to summer camps like the Y, or camps on FAMU's campus, or different programs where basically the imagery was reflected in the way Nickel Boys was shot. For example, I could literally, 10 years later, take you to the exact spot on the exact trail where a shot like this matches from my life. And it's so great to see because it shows me how to capture an image that speaks directly to you. Because great artists only create for themselves. They appeal to no one. I realize I do need to explain some of the film in order for you to understand what I'm getting at, so skip here if you don't want any spoilers. But Nickel Boys is about a teen growing up in the segregated South who's sent to a prison reform camp due to an injustice in the system. But the camp is basically slave labor, so for-profit prisons, except so much worse. But it's the idea of life, especially when you're a kid, feeling like prison. And I think the moment you truly enter the first stages of adulthood is when you make this connection. Oh shit, the world really isn't much different than high school. One moment that really marked this shift for me was when I experienced depression for the first time. And it wasn't loneliness or agony or sorrow like it's depicted in the movies. It was emptiness. And I can't help but make the assumption that that wasn't the first time I felt it. It was the first time I became consciously aware of it. And it was from years of bubbling up and being neglected because for so long, I had an identity that was placed upon me by the outside world. I was allowing my external environment to shape and mold me into the suppressed expression of my parents and the internet. And on top of being the only black kid in school, there was already a target on my back. So it's as if I was undergoing the traumas and heartaches of puberty while being placed under a microscope. So everything around me was enhanced, but growing up is realizing everybody felt that way, that the entire world was watching them. I was just more aware of it because physically I was different in an area that fought so hard to not allow me to attend the same school and enter the same classrooms as my peers. And so I felt invisible. There's a ritual in the Golden Dawn called the Rose Cross Ritual, which apparently is designed for invisibility. But I found the best invisibility ritual for me is the middle pillar. It's this idea of invoking the divine light and literally sealing and concealing your aura from the outside world or any environment which does not serve the Lima in the purest form. And over the course of this month, really, I've been understanding how my work environment is truly just a reflection of me. I used to have so much anxiety about going into work because it's not where I want to be in life. I'm an artist. I'm made to create, not slave for a future Skynet which doesn't give a flying fuck about its employees. And something that always bugged me was how I never fit in. I wanted work relationships. I wanted to be known as MOC while working at Chick-fil-A or Shake Shack or Trader Joe's, but I wasn't. And when I mentioned I made music, it was never as grandiose as I expected of a reaction. In fact, hardly ever the right people reacted. It was always viewed as a hobby. But for me, I view it as a lifestyle. I always viewed myself through the snow globe scene and I saw the TV globe. That's the first time I ever saw a movie and went, holy shit, this was made for me. Because I grew up without an identity. My identity was all of the negative reflections forced upon me by my religion, parenthood, friendships, etc. And it's not until I found my identity, the artist, that I said, okay, I understand my invisibility. But it's not until I identified as the Magus that I said, okay, I've integrated my invisibility and I'm using it to my advantage. Because when you're invisible, you're a wallflower. And like Stephen Shabowski showed, there are many perks to being a wallflower. So I wrote this before I finished watching The Perks of Being a Wallflower. I've come to the conclusion that there aren't many perks to being a wallflower. That movie fucked me up. And I know I said this was gonna be first person. It is. You just have to see it how I'm seeing it. This video is not going as planned. So I decided to get a septum piercing at the beginning of allergy season and also during the new moon while doing ritual work with Selene, a moon goddess. And I'm seeing why people say to end things on a new moon and create on a full, because the end result is not matching my intention. Originally, I wanted to do the right side to represent the sun, the left the moon, and the middle Mercury, or Taurus, so the earthy aspect of Venus, which creates an inverted triangle, the alchemical sign for water, or my emotions, by making it inverted triangle. And originally I was going to go with a hoop, as it'd be inverted, representing the air aspect of Taurus. But I decided with bull rings, because a bull is the earthy aspect of Venus. But as the earth is imperfect, one of the balls fell out. And this is really difficult to get used to not rubbing my nose, or when I have random sneeze attacks throughout the day. It's just a lot, bro. It's a lot. And I know they say you have to suffer for fashion, but Jesus fuck, man, this is a lot. I can't even afford to get it fixed because I don't have a car, and an Uber ride is like 40 round trip. And rent is due. So I'm just gonna have to thug it out. But this has given me a very interesting perspective and taught me a lot. But I like to touch upon the delicate aspect of everything first. I put water in my face to represent I'm a delicate being. I'm an artist, and being an artist hurts sometimes. We suffer for our art, suffer for the world. Even when everybody is against us, we still show up every single day. And it's not easy. And it doesn't matter if you want to or not. The choice isn't really yours. Only the decision to actually make that choice is. Only the decision to make that choice is. Additionally, this truly represents the first step to becoming my own independent being. I'm not sure if I touched on this or not, but my mom fucking hates piercings and everything my brand represents. And I'm pretty sure she's watching this channel right now. Hi, Mom. Interesting. Watching my channel despite knowing it'll cause you suffering. Is that love in the purest form? So if I'm committing to my path while also moving away from the familial strongholds that have attached and molded my psyche my entire life, it seems this would be a perfect Saturn ritual, or make for a perfect dedication. So I've dedicated my ears to Hod and Netshak, and my nostrils Kesed and Seraphim. So the seed of life which now pierces my nostrils represents the unification of the divine masculine. Something I've been invoking for quite a while now. Oh, I didn't talk how this acts as an initiation process. When I became a Mason, I didn't know this at the time, but they were represented by 3 themes: youth, manhood, and age. Youth, manhood, and we're not quite at age yet. But as there are 3, and 3 relates to the triangle, I'll explain in the way I view the triangle to give clues for a future video. Age is represented by fear, as Kronos' biggest fear was his children overthrowing him. He tried to stop destiny. What I'm going to do is embrace destiny by eliminating fear. Manhood. This represents independence. A final transition, changing my mindset to that of certainty, which is the mindset you must adopt if you'd like to change the world. Youth. Most people get their ears pierced when they're kids. It's like the first major piercing. You know? And doing this has allowed me to be much more conscious. And I kind of have a theory that this is what happened when I originally got initiated. Probably not to like exactly the same, but it probably affected me the same, probably more, but I just wasn't really aware of it yet. So this is kind of like an initiation, but I'm ultra aware of it. So it's a very like weird transitory period of my life. That's funny I say period, and last night was a new moon. I've always observed my body, but this has helped me to literally predict my anxiety by understanding it stems from me not going with the first option. And if I'm on my phone, I'll switch apps or slide my phone screen down to see if I have any new notifications. Spoiler alert, I don't. Nobody is hitting me up. I really am in my invisibility era. There's so much more I want to say, but I'll end with this. This has shown me who needs to stay in my life, put my foot down, and demand respect and comfortability in my own actions. When I pulled this tarot card a couple days ago, the voice I heard was not mine, actually. It was Damien Echoes. But it applied so well to that day. Fuck. But it's that I need to let go of the things I can't control and only focus on what I can. Also, this video shows the type of artist NickelBoys is inspiring. I think this next area is going to be really, really exciting. And oh, hold on, sorry. This era represents the Full Tarot, the new moon, darkness, jumping into the abyss / great unknown. Since the previous full moon, I've been jumping. I'm falling away. From what exactly? Old behaviors, lifestyles. The gods seem to meet you more than halfway. Give 20%, they'll probably give about 80. Because if you're fucking falling, that other percent don't even really matter for real. They're just proud you made that leap. The Benjamin is kicking in, ladies and gentlemen. Because most people don't. And if you're watching this video and you're one of the few to find it before I blow up and get mega successful, please take that leap, whatever it is. Time is too short. And if humanity has shown us anything, especially through art, is that the world has always been this chaotic. Nobody's really figured it out. Let's agree on that for the sake of this video. But time and time again, people have tried. It's the ones who have tried that we respect the most through immortalizing their consciousness. Become immortal. 93.